So let's start. Before we go any further, make sure we're all looking at the same thing. So what does the notification actually look like? This is a regular notification. This is not an interrupt notification. This is a Windows notification. And this is what you get out of the box in a Windows system. So some app fires it, it pops in the corner. You usually dismiss it or just ignore it, and that's it. You have no severity, no actions, no context, and then poof, few seconds later, it's basically gone. And yeah, you get the notification center, okay, but you open the panel and you just get the list, but nothing you really can act on. Just a feed. If you're a trader or a trade settlement just failed, it just tells you that it failed and nothing else. So you need to go to the Salesforce or the OMS or find whoever needs to know, all to do it manually. But how it looks like in io.Connect. The same event, but now the notification has a button or buttons that open exactly the app you need. It will be preloaded with the right context, and basically one click instead of 4 minutes of looking around different applications. And that's really the efficiency gain. So it's not a new concept, but it's really leveraging what you already have, which is the interop wiring that you already implemented. So given that, what's the actual problem we are solving on the trading floor and probably also on other floors? Modern financial desktops are really complex things. So we have dozens of applications, thousands of events a minute. And the problem isn't really a lack of data or alerts. It's really that it's the right information rarely reaches the right person at the right moment. So I would say it's more of a coordination failure and not really a technology gap. But yeah, let's see what that failure actually looks like day to day. Events go nowhere. So backend fires a critical event and lands in a log. Nobody really sees it. No routing logic, so the alert goes to everyone or no one, and there is no concept of task or role. And this is what Steve already mentioned pre my presentation. You have fragmented UX, so every app handles alerts differently. Users just over time tends to ignore them. You have coordination gaps, so operations needs to hand off to business desk. Email fills the gap, but email usually fills the gap very, very badly. You have no audit trail. So who saw the notification? When did they see it? Did they act on the notification? The compliance might ask you, but nobody really has a clean answer. And there is no escalation. So critical items, it's unacknowledged. Nothing happens. It just falls through and you have problems burning. So we built something that addresses all of this. And I think it's really simple, simpler than you might expect. So how do we solve it? 3 components. You own the first and partially the last. So the first component is your backend that emits the events. So you have the trading events, settlement events, risk operations, and so on. Then you have the notification service. And this is what we handle and what we provide to you, which is basically the routing, the enrichment of the notifications, the rules, the state of the notification, which each of those I will talk a little bit more just in a second. And then the io.Connect, either browser or desktop, delivers to the right user at the right time with the full context. And what's great, that you build it once and then you can extend it to new use cases, to new teams, new channels. You don't need to rebuild anything, you just use the same functions over and over again. So yeah, what are the platform capabilities that will allow you to all of this, to do all of this? These are all out of the box. The toast notification, so you can automatically dismiss them, you can stack them, you can snooze them. We give you the notification panel. That's the thing sitting on the right side of the screen usually. You can sort them, you can filter it out. And what's cool, we also give you an API that you can control programmatically what's happening inside the notification panel. You also get notification buttons. But by default, it's just 2 buttons, but you can even do more if you want to customize them. And they wire directly to the interop actions and interop methods that you already have at your desktop. Then you have severity levels, which helps you deliver at the right time the specific notification, and they help you filter them out, or maybe ignore even some of them if they have low severity. And then you have state lifecycle. And what is a state lifecycle? Well, I'll talk about it a little bit more, but basically you start with notification that's just delivered, to maybe acknowledged, to closed, or maybe to stale, and you can subscribe to all of that and act if something changes here. And notification badges, so on the taskbar, you have the unread count, you have the customizable badges that allow you to make the readability a little bit better. And this all works across both deployment models, browser and desktop. But yeah, what is the, well, more programmatic, more technical stuff? I have boiled it down to just 5 API calls, and this is the entire integration surface your developers need to learn, but there's obviously more if you want to deep dive into the documentation. The raise function is just the beginning, the entry point. You give the title, you give the severity. These are the essentials. Then you can also provide the actions or click interop method. And this is what makes it powerful. This is what also returns a notification object. So if you hold on to the ID of the notification, then you can act programmatically also later on that notification. You can also set the state programmatically to the notification, so it really closes the loop from the backend. The event resolves before anyone acts. Well, you just call the set state, make it stale, for example, and it will disappear cleanly. The compliance signs off, then you just set state to acknowledged, and the audit trail you leave behind is automatic. On state changed, you can subscribe once at startup, and every transition fires your handler regardless of who triggered it. So you can use this to cascade events, cancel related notifications, write to audit log. This is what Steve mentioned and what I promised to have an answer for, which is the set filter function. You pass an allowed list of app names and only those sources raised into the user panel. So no code change on the source side, just a filter call. And then you have the click interop, which is not even a function, but really a functionality, a key differentiator, I would say. So the action button doesn't call a URL or a function, well, unless you want to connect a custom function to the button, which is also possible. But by default, it fires a named method, a named interop method on our interop bus. So the handler app can change without touching the notification code if you already have interop methods. But what lies on you, what lies on us? The left side is where your team writes code or where your business decides what to do. And what I mean by that, so things like event ingestion, any backend calls raise, like OMS, risk engine, batch job, you just pass the title, severity, actions, and click interop target. The business adapter routing rules, so I mean the server-side logic, like correlating the events, suppressing resolved duplicates, escalating on no acknowledgement, or enriching this with some additional context. This is all on you. The action handlers, so click interop wires each button to a named interop method, but you obviously need to think about what those methods you're going to use. And the source filtering, again, so the set filter controls per user which app sources may raise into the panel. And this can be task level or role level, however you decide. But what we give you to help you achieve all of those is a full life cycle. From active to acknowledged, to seen, to snooze, to stale, to closed. It's all persisted and subscribable. We give you the toast and a panel synchronization across all clients. So you have functions like on raised, on closed, on data changed, and they will fire on any subscriber. Then you have things to archive and restore those notifications. So import function will restore persisted notifications if you log in back to your system. List function will give you the live set of notifications at any point, and you can act upon it even from different application. And we also give you the panel and the toolbar where you can turn on the mute mode, the focus mode, the stacking, snoozing of the notification, and a very simple API to just show, hide, or toggle the panel with the notifications, or use configure to customize the behavior. But let's not make it only theoretical, not only technical. Let's actually look at two use cases. And this is a use case A, which is like a tier 1 global investment bank that I have anonymized for this purpose. This is the story behind what was happening here. An operation team monitoring over 1,000 settlements a day, and when a trade fails, well, the minutes matter. So before the time passes, before someone even knew there was a problem, each and every minute that passes is problematic, obviously. So we wanted to bring it from minutes or even hours sometimes to seconds. And also, there was a full audit trail required to see like who accepted what, who's seen what, and so on. So what we have built a settlement engine integration. We have routed the notification by the desk and the region. We have started using the mute and focus mode. We have also started using the archive and restore. The users were logging back in and looking at the notifications already there in the panel. You can also use the toolbar service to directly raise the notification panel. And also clicking on the notification was going straight to the trade details. You didn't need to look it up yourself. It was just directly connected to the trade details application. And with the right context, it was showing the details already like in a seconds, not in the minutes. And talking about the seconds and not hours or not minutes on the detection time. So yeah, the detection time was cut down dramatically, as I said, into the seconds. You've got a full audit trail on every acknowledgement, and you have no additional tooling required because all that was done here is basically built into the interop io. So yeah, this is how it looks like from the architectural perspective. 4 stages, left to right. Let me walk you through what each one does. So the first one is the event source. So the backend emits raw domain events, the settlement failures, risk breaches, like batch completions, and so on. These are facts about the business, not instructions for the UI. So the source has no knowledge of who's on call or what channel to use. Then you have the notification service. So the business adapter is where the logic lives. It correlates related events, enriches with context, with deep links, or suppresses if already resolved. The core engine persists every transition, some from active to seen to acknowledged to snooze to stale to closed and so on. And each of those is subscribable via our events given by the API. And then you have the io.Connect gateway and io.Connect desktop. So the adapter layer maps the internal schema to our functions from the API. So you just raise the notification with the title, severity, actions, and the click interop, which fires an interop method call, and the action button wires directly to any registered app without hard-coded links. So when the trader acknowledges, the state transition is fired back through the set state, and the business adapter receives it and cancels related notifications. So yeah, you have one routing layer, and well, add a new event source, you extend the business adapter rules, not the delivery infrastructure. But I wanted to show you another example, different team, different problem, but same routing pattern. This is again a global financial institution, mostly related to client operations and compliance. And this client didn't have a settlement problem, they had an approval problem. So the compliance, the operations, legal, they needed 3 sign-offs. And this was tracked via email. And sometimes, you know what it is with the email, sometimes they got lost, sometimes it lasts days between somebody responds to an email. So what can you do with it? you can replace it with a structured notification chain. So the use case B is all about this approval chain. And number one is step one is the compliance. So the KYC review comes in, we call raise, and the notification lands on the compliance desk with the client record attached. Then it goes to operations. The compliance approves, that's the set state call, and on state changed fires on the downstream service. So it calls raise again, this time to operations, and it carries everything compliance already decided. And then you go to the legal. This is the same pattern. Operation confirms, the event fires, legal gets a notification with a full prior approval context. And it all leaves behind the audit trail, so every one of those state transitions is persisted automatically, and the audit trail is really the byproduct of the lifecycle. So yeah, you don't need a separate workflow system. The notification service in this case is the state machine and carries the decision process. So yeah, same infrastructure as use case A, but completely different problem. So yeah, these are just two of what we've built so far, but what is possible? Out of the box is the orange spokes that you can see. So you get the escalation engine, as I mentioned previously, the toasts, the notification panel, and also very similar functionality on io.Connect browser if you have some web or hybrid users. But what if you use Teams or any other chats? You can extend that, or we can help you extend the notifications to wire, to Teams, to chat. Whatever you need. You can even hook mobile push, so for the off-desktop coverage for traders not at their workstation. You can even extend it to SMS for critical alerts, circuit breakers, hard limits, basically somewhere where you need the guaranteed delivery. And obviously AI is like a really hot topic. So if you want even go to even further, you can apply machine learning-based prioritization of the routing layer, maybe even some large language model that will help you summarize the notifications and just deliver one notification with the summary. This is, again, a possible extension. I'm just showing you that our notifications are very flexible and you can customize them to your needs if you want to. But yeah, this table is what you get, what you configure, not really what you build. Each row here is one raise call from a different backend system. Same API, same panel. The click interop target is the only coupling, and it's a string, not a function pointer. So you can change the handler up without touching the notification. And I have shown you three rows here, the trade, risk, and approval, and they are deliberately from different system types. So same raise call from the API, same panel, but the event source is irrelevant to the delivery layer. So if any of this resonates, here's how to take it forward. So we can help you with building this and to getting acknowledged with this. We can start with discovery, map your event landscape, what fires, who cares, what should trigger a notification versus noise. And this is where we build the catalog. And from the catalog, we design the service, how events flow in, how they get routed, where the integration points are in the stack. Then we can help you also build the backend, implement the routing layer, wire the event sources, set up state management, handle the escalation paths for unacknowledged alerts. With the io.Connect browser and desktop, the front end, the io.Connect configuration, we can also help you with that, with the panel, how the toasts behave, what the action buttons are wired to what, and yeah, just to launch the right app with the right context. And then we won't leave you alone. If you want, we can also finish it off with testing, monitoring, documentation, and knowledge transfer. So yeah, your team can extend this independently. Hopefully, well, if any of this resonates, here is how to take it forward. Let's talk. We can have a small technical deep dive. Maybe talk to your architects, to you. You can show us your event sources, and we'll show you what's possible. And maybe spend a little bit more time together, carve out like top 3, maybe 5 scenarios, make a pilot scope, and maybe a focused pilot. So just a little bit more work with your team, maybe do some POC, see how it translates to what you need to build. So yeah, how to get started? Obviously, apart from our documentation, you can reach out directly to me and I can point you to a specific person from our company, or you can reach out to, for example, well, whoever closest is for you in the interop.